Hello, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Sulola. I usually go by Liz, and welcome to the third episode of Ooosie Storybook Talks. Today, I'm here with three special guests. Start with you.
My name is Favor.
My name is Farah.
I'm Sean.
And today, we'll be talking about forgiving yourself. And this episode is actually very, very important in this entire series, because this entire series, as you guys know, is trying to figure out who you are. Like, it's like a guideline. Not really, you guys don't have to follow this, but it's just kind of like things that I feel like you need to understand about yourself to be able to find who you are as a person, especially when you're having an identity crisis. These are things you need to reflect on. And one of the things that I feel like not many people reflect on is forgiving themselves. I feel like people don't realize that, especially because I'm a Christian. You guys are all Christians, right?
Yes,
And I feel like the Bible tells us to forgive other people, but people forget that that also applies to ourselves as well. And I feel like we are very hard on ourselves as humans. There's so much expectations from society. How would you guys say that journey went for you when it came to like forgiving other people versus forgiving yourselves?
Can you elaborate on that more? What do you mean?
Like, more or less, like, what did you guys have to kind of like experience, or what was things that you had to realize to be able to get to that point of like, oh shoot, I'm a little too hard on myself, versus like how you are towards others? Because, and for example, right, for me, I feel like when it comes to other people, I tend to be very overly forgiving, and I give them a lot of second chances, third chances, and I give people the benefit of the doubt a lot. And I feel like as human beings, we tend to do that. It's easier to do that. But to ourselves, like, say you wake up late and you miss a class and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm stupid, like, why did I do that? Like, you're really hard on yourself and you beat yourself about that the entire day, versus someone else, if they oversleep and they miss like something of yours, you're like, oh, it's okay. Like, how do you guys think that, like how does that experience have for you? Like, how are you guys with that? That's what I mean. Am I making sense?
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Okay.
So are you speaking more towards like self-identity and how you see yourself versus how you see, is it actual forgiveness and like forgiving others for conflict, or is it more so like identity?
It's like who you are. Like, how would you say, what are things you had to realize about yourself in order to get to the point where you're forgiving yourself? Like, what did you have to realize that you were too hard on yourself, basically, versus other people? Or are you too hard on yourself? Let's start with that. Like, are you guys hard on yourselves versus other people?
I think yes.
You think so?
I don't know most people. I know I can speak for me naturally. I have a lot of high expectations for myself, so sometimes they're unreasonably high, and I don't have anybody else, because literally just me in my own head. I don't have anybody else to tell me, whoa, this is a false expectation. Other people don't really expect things from other people. I feel like in life, you don't expect people to do things, or you don't expect people to cook for you. They just kind of live their life. So it's like when somebody else lets you down, it's like it hurts, but it's okay. They kind of let me down. But if I let somebody down, it's like, yo, how could you do that? Like, you know better. Like, you're in your own head to know that you let somebody down. So I think that contributes to it, but also actually, let me get back to you on that. But that's for now. That's for now. I don't want to just speak.
But like, how would you say that applies to like forgiving yourself? Like, how did you realize that, oh shoot, like, I need to like give myself a break?
I feel like I can touch on that. The grace you give onto yourself is like what you'll get from others. I feel like sometimes I lack to give myself grace, and when you can't give yourself grace, it's hard to give other people grace. If you can't forgive yourself, you can't forgive other people. So
You think so?
because I feel like the way that I handle myself is the way that I handle other people genuinely. Like, I don't understand the whole thing of how you could treat somebody else better than you treat yourself. If I'm treating myself good, I'm treating other people good. That's how it is for me.
That actually kind of reminds me of the principle in the Bible of like, by the measure with which you judge, you'll be judged as well. So it's just essentially to sum up your point too. Yeah, I don't think you can give what you don't have.
Yeah.
So, because to answer your question from earlier as well, I think sometimes I'm harder on myself. Sometimes I'm harder on other people, and I think it depends on the situation and like the context that I have in my head for what I think I could have done better versus assessing, actually this person has this information and I feel like they could have done better too. So it really is situational.
I get what you mean. Do you guys think that during those situations where, like, you think that, oh shoot, like that person could have done better, but I could have also done better as well, do you think that that also applies to like you knowing, like you having yourself, like knowing yourself, like self-worth. Because I feel like a lot of people say, like, for example, in order to love someone else, you have to love yourself, and that has to do with like gaining that self-love. Do you guys think like forgiving yourself is also like a form of self-respect in a way, like you, in order for you to be able to like for example, in order for you to able to like respect other people and like forgive them in that way, how does that apply back to ourselves? Because I know you were saying that, but how does that really apply back
Forgiving other people
versus forgiving yourself? Like, because you said that, well, you said, and quote me if I'm wrong, you
Okay.
said that you need to be able to, like, you can't forgive yourself. You can't forgive other people if you haven't forgiven yourself. But wouldn't you think it's easier to forgive other people than it is yourself? So
I mean, if you live life like that, that's your business.
so
That's
technically
fair,
you
that's fair.
can do that. You can forgive other people without forgiving yourself. It just,
Yes,
it'll
but
affect you.
that's not the way to live life. Sorry.
But it's
Why?
possible.
Yes.
Wait, like, what do you mean it's not the way to live life? Like, why don't you think it's the way?
Because I feel like if you can, because one of the topics that we even talked about was like shame.
Mm-hmm.
When I think about shame, I think about like forgiving yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of shame, if you can forgive somebody else for that act, but you can't forgive yourself, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like we can forgive some people for some things that we wouldn't forgive ourselves. Like, how do I explain that?
I get what you mean. Like, okay,
Like-
if someone lets you down, like you said, it's easier to forgive. But when you let yourself down, it's like, why would I do that? But like, why is that? Why are we so hard on ourselves versus other people?
I think it stems honestly back to the garden. I think it's pride. I think we're very prideful in the sense that we think we should be something that God does not want us to be. We can't really put that expectation on other people, but when it comes to ourselves, just naturally, I think we all struggle with pride in some one way or another. So I think it's like pride in putting ourselves to a certain standard that God doesn't even see us like. So I think it's honestly pride and just lack of understanding. So we seen ourselves the way God's seen us, we wouldn't have those expectations for ourselves. We'd realize, okay, we're humans, we mess up. God literally like died for this. Like it's His grace over our lives that we're able to even go the way we go in the good ways. So like I think it's honestly pride, and we can't really be prideful with other people. We're like prideful in ourselves. So I think that's why it's a little bit easier
That's a
to
good.
answer your question.
That's good. And I was gonna add on to that because when I was thinking about the topic, humility actually came to mind. Like when you're forgiving yourself, it takes a lot of humility, which is the opposite of what he was saying in the same way. But I'm also a psych major, and I think to answer your question psychologically, like I think we're harder on ourselves because we have access, like I was saying, to more information about what could have informed our decisions. Whereas with other people, we don't really know what they're thinking or what
What they're going
information they
through,
had at
yeah.
the same time. But like if we're thinking, oh, I knew this, and I didn't do this, then I'm gonna have a harder time on myself than the other person who, oh, they probably just had a bad day, so I'm just gonna forgive them or whatever.
That's actually interesting when you say that, the access to information, because it makes me think about like how parents could be harder on siblings and like their children, for example, because it's like they know what their children are doing. Well, they think they know, at
Yeah.
least. They think they know what their children are going through. So therefore, if their children doesn't say like, you ask your child to clean the living room before they get back from work, and you get back and it's like they didn't do that, you get angry at them because it's like, weren't you just at home all day? You weren't doing anything. But that child may have just gone through a breakup. We don't even know what they just might have not told their parents, and it's like that's what they were going through mentally that made them forget about that. So it's like when you think you know so much things about this one person, it's easier to have higher expectations, which can affect how you react when it doesn't go that way. Versus like if they're just a complete stranger, if they disappoint you, well, it's like, well, I don't know what they've been doing, I don't know what they're going through. So interesting. That's actually very interesting now that you say that. It makes me think, because it's like, I feel like as humans we have a lot of shame and guilt and regret when it comes to things and situations. It makes me think like how there's the past, there's the future, there's the present, and how we kind of have to confront and heal from those things, and really in order to really find your sense of self, you kind of have to go back to your past and really forgive yourselves for all the things that you've done even in childhood that might be eating you up. even till today and affecting you mentally. But how do you think as humans, like, we can really like let go of that past and give ourselves permission to move on?
Good question.
That is a good question.
Do you have a personal scenario where you caught yourself like off guard with your own, I guess?
Yeah.
Whatever, and you just couldn't forgive yourself. Like, tell us about that.
I feel like, I don't know, giving myself permission to move on, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like in my life, there are things like I've let in people take advantage of me for, you know, my time and my kindness. And I feel like I'm a very easygoing person, and I allow things to slide a lot, but because I care about people, not because that it's convenient for me. You get what I mean? And I feel like I let a lot of people take advantage of that because I wanted to be their friends, or I wanted, you know, to be a part of that. And I ate myself up for that for the longest time. I really like blamed myself for not being able to stand up for myself in that moment. And I felt like I had to really realize that you were a child who was craving love from other people because that's what humans do. We're children and we're growing up, and it's okay to feel that sense of desire to create a connection with someone, to create friendships. And that doesn't mean that you're not a person who knows their worth. It means that you're a person who loves love and loves to be a part of things and wants to be with people, and that's not a bad thing. It just means that you need to realize that not everybody should have access to that. Because of how much you do love people, you should limit who gets to have that love from you. And I feel like that really made me forgive myself for those things, because I realized as a child, we just want to connect, and that's not a bad thing. And I shouldn't blame myself for not standing up and allowing those things, because it all made me who I am today. And those experiences I needed to go through to realize the things I realized today in order to be where I am right now. So I think that's what I had to go through in order to what I had to think about, and how I had to think about that in order to let go of that past and give myself that permission to really move on. How would you guys say that applies to you guys?
What I kind of took from that was like you had a lot of compassion on yourself and understanding. Like you understood why you did it, and you took accountability for what you did. You knew it was wrong, whatever you just did. And then you had a lot of compassion, like a lot of understanding, and you're like, okay, let me just, like, I see why I did this. Would you guys say that you kind of agree?
Yeah.
With like what she said? Okay, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you guys were about
That was a good summary. What are you gonna add on?
No, I was waiting for that reflection on yourself. Like, how would you, from your experiences?
I actually don't know. Get back to me. I want to hear
No, I was gonna say, to your point about compassion, to summarize what you said, I think it's like a general acceptance of your humanity. Because I feel like when we don't forgive ourselves, we are holding ourselves to a high standard. I know you mentioned before that God isn't even holding us to. I think when I remember to forgive myself, or as I'm learning to forgive myself, is when I just accept the fact that God knew this was going to happen even before I was born. Like, he literally died on the cross because he knew, I was going to make mistakes. So the sooner I accept the fact that I'm literally a human being who is going to make mistakes, I'm like, okay, well, I'll forgive myself. Because a situation that I could share that I remember being particularly hard on myself was my little sister told me something. It actually has to do with Sean. My little sister told me something, and it wasn't necessarily like, it was sensitive, but I didn't know that she was uncomfortable with me saying anything about it. I didn't tell him details, but I was just like, oh my gosh, would you believe this happened? Like, da-da-da. And then, anyways, he ended up asking her about, you know when you tell someone something and you expect them not to tell the other person,
but then they bring it up.
Yes, and
then
I
you're
was
like,
just
oh, you told them?
Yeah, I was like, oh, why?
Yeah, I was like,
I wasn't supposed to
that.
say anything.
Yeah, so anyways, that was the situation, and I felt so bad because I was like, how could I betray her trust like that? I didn't even mean to betray her trust, because she's 6 years younger than me. So I felt so horrible, and I was beating myself up. And at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I made the mistake. Like, I made a bad decision at the time with the information that I had. I'm human. I'm not gonna get it right all the time. So I think just genuinely accepting the fact, okay, I'm literally gonna make mistakes, and let's not dwell. Let's keep it pushing, and that's how I feel like I navigate those.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think that's one of those things, like you said, compassion, having compassion, and reminding yourself that you're human. What about you, Favor?
I agree with everything that everybody said, but I as a psych major too, like
Twins.
I live life all on like perception, and it's about how you attack life, right? So if you're just like, oh, what a shame, I'm such a pity, life won't be looking too sweet for you. So that's why I also do agree that you should forgive yourself, because like a lot of things happen every day. Like, how do I explain it? Like, a lot of annoying things can happen every day that could already annoy you. So for you to already like be breaking yourself down, that doesn't help. Like what could be going on, you know? So like once again, like your self-talk and like what's going on within yourself. Like, I don't think it's worth beating yourself up when the world is already beating you.
No, right? The world is already hard.
When the world is already beating you.
The world is already so hard on its own. It's like one of those things where it's like you can't be too hard on yourself, otherwise you're just gonna end up, you know, falling apart. Like the world is hitting you.
You're gonna end up depressed.
No, right? That's how actually, like, isn't that like how also depression is also
There's
formed
like
as
12
well?
depressions, you know.
Yeah.
12 is crazy. There's 12.
Yeah.
It's like
Seasonal,
Pokemon.
situational, then you have the postpartum, right?
my
And then
gosh.
actual clinical depression.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like, yo, when you actually figure, well, it's
A lot of things to be
There's
depressed
so
about,
many.
damn.
when you look at what
Yes.
depression is, doesn't it kind of make sense? Like seasonal depression, like daylight savings, all of us catch it. So
That makes sense. I don't know. I feel like, okay, what are something about yourselves that you've struggled to forgive yourself for personally? Because I know for me, like I said, was I really, really struggled with like the access that I let people have. Because I was just like, why would you let people like? Because I used to do this thing when I was younger where I used to like be fine with people embarrassing me as long as it was like everybody was like having fun and laughing, because I didn't want to be a downer. I didn't want to be like, oh, that really hurt me, because I didn't want to ruin the mood. One of the qualities that I actually think is a really good quality about myself is that I love seeing people happy, and I love making people happy and being in that environment where people are happy, especially if like I have something to do with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I made you laugh today. And even though it's like attacking me in a way I don't like, I compromise that a lot just because I, you know, wanted people to have fun and be light and laughter and whatever. But there was so much that I let people do to me that I tolerated, that it actually affected how people started to come towards me, because now it's like it almost like it seemed like they constantly saw me as entertainment or a joke. Like that when I'm there, if they're bored, all they have to do is like pick on Liz in order for it to be like more funny and lively. And I allowed myself to tolerate that for so long that I started to put myself down because other people were putting me down constantly, and it affected my self-worth, how I saw myself. And I ate myself up so badly for allowing people to do that. And I thought, oh, it was too late. I said, oh, because I've already let people I've tolerated that for so long, I can't just say, no, you can't do that. I can't just, because it's like I have to do that for a whole new person now, a whole new slate. But I didn't realize, like, no, you can still tell people, like, that was not okay, that it was never okay. And if they really care about you, if they really cared about that friendship, they would understand that, like, it's, like, they would understand that, okay, this person doesn't like that, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I feel like those are where your real connections come from, your real friendships come from, because those people actually care about you. And I feel like I had to really allow myself to realize that, like, sometimes you don't have to let people really, you don't always have to put yourself down in order for people to put themselves up. If people have to put themselves up, put you down to put themselves up, that's them. That's their issue. Don't allow them to do that. That's what they need to work on. They need to realize that they need to figure out how they put themselves up without putting other people down. You don't allow it.
That's fine.
You don't have to allow it just because it makes them feel good, just because you like seeing people happy. And not all happiness is good happiness. Like, people get happy from seeing people fail. Is that good happiness? Like, let's think about it for real. Like, just because people are laughing doesn't mean they're laughing at something good. They could be laughing because an old lady fell down the stairs. That's evil. And I feel like you just have to realize that not all laughter
It's good
That's what-
laughter.
It's good. No, it's awful.
Because
but
you know
people
what you're
do
talking
that.
about. I was gonna talk to you about this literally later. Let me tell you something. PSA, huh? Anybody who ostracize anybody else to make fun of them, it's because you hate yourself. Literally,
Damn.
like for you to
Damn.
pick on another person for no reason, you don't like yourself,
Go on.
and you're not happy with yourself. Because anybody that's happy with themselves, you don't bash other people. That's the truth. Do you bash other people? Do you bash other people? You do bash other people because you like yourself. You that doesn't like yourself. That's why you. That's why you're talking about other people, and it's true. A lot of bullies.
That's true, especially those anonymous bullies.
The
Like, they
secret
don't-
haters.
Yeah.
You don't like your
Those
life.
guys are really jealous. They're just jealous.
Damn,
Just
that's
jealous.
actually interesting now that you
Yeah,
guys say it. It makes me honestly think about how people say that the people who hate on something the most are actually in reflection. That's what they do. They hate on something that's similar to them the most. Like, for example, someone who hates on someone because of a certain feature is because they either had that feature
Girl.
or they, you know,
There was
they
this one
have
girl.
it.
She was talking about, your boyfriend's nose is so big. Your boyfriend.
What the freak?
She was talking about last week how she had a big nose. That's the tea. That's the tea.
So the reason why she's insulting someone else is because
Every
she
time
also
somebody
hates
brings
that
a
part
man,
of
you're
her.
talking about, oh, his nose is big. It's because you hate your nose. That's why you're looking at everybody's nose because you
Damn.
hate it on yourself. Like, and that's real life.
Clock it. Okay, damn.
Yeah, so you think that person can't like forgive themselves for like what do you think's going on in their head? It's like
It's internal, right? You know even how we have like subconscious thoughts and all that type of stuff.
Mhm.
What you feel within, you don't. Oh, hey friend. Time is up.
No, she said I should round her up. Okay.
Wait, what did she say?
No, she was just telling me that I have to round up soon. 'cause
How
the
many more
studio
minutes
times
do we?
is like less than 10.
ah,
Yeah, guys, when I tell you everybody, we were supposed to speak for an hour.
Big business.
Everyone pushed it back for me, but it's like I have to respect their time as well. But like,
You still tried. You did great.
I'm trying my best, man, and that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna forgive myself for this, cause
Yep.
you know, it's like I'm doing what I can. At the end of the day, it's like whatever is supposed to happen happens, and you just have to move forward with your life. You can't beat yourself up over it.
Nope.
But one question. Oh, did you want to say something? Go for it.
No, oh, sorry. I was just gonna add something to what you were.
Sorry, bro. Come on. I got a question list.
She's the show host. I don't wanna crap this
No,
down.
go on.
No, but just to the last thing that you said,
Mhm.
I was thinking as you were speaking, and it reminded me of just the fact that like when you don't forgive yourself initially, I feel like it's a how could I do this? But when you let that unforgiveness fester, I feel like it often becomes an identity thing where it's like how could I be this instead of do this? Like when you don't forgive yourself for like a long time, it's like, oh my gosh, who am I? I'm such a loser. I'm this. But it's like, whoa. If we had caught the forgiveness earlier or the unforgiveness earlier, it wouldn't even turn into an identity.
Low-key, even to build on your point too, just about how you couldn't, like how you ended up forgiving yourself for that. You didn't take it as identity, but if you took it as identity, it would rob you of the chance to like grow. So I even think people do that as like a way to not grow.
Yeah.
And they do it as like a way to like shield themselves. Like you probably know your insight. Like
That's
they
why
need to,
some
like,
people are doing emo
shield their-
phase.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Yeah, actually what he's doing. Yeah. 'cause
No, I'm
they-
being so
they,
dead.
they actually just want to be sad. They don't want to change. Genuinely, I think it just robs you of a lot of things once you take it as identity. It's like, okay, I'm just a failure. Then I'm messed up. I'm just a failure. I don't have to change because I'm already a failure. So
You
I
label
think
yourself as something.
Winner
and then you
mindset.
stick by it.
and then you start living like that and you start reinforcing that.
Honestly, I agree with what you. That was a great point, by the way. I agree with what you said. Honestly, like I feel like I also went through a certain point in my life where I let that eat me up for a little bit, and if I didn't realize quick enough, like Liz, like okay, you're allowed to make mistakes. I would have been in a different point in my life right now. I wouldn't be doing the things I am doing, because I would have allowed that to take over my life, and I would have allowed that to reflect in who I am. But that's not who I am. I know who I am, and I know that that was just an experience that I went through, and that shaped who I am now. And I learned from that experience, and I knew not to do that again, so that I could become the person I am today and become the person I want to be tomorrow. And that's just how you have to do it. Because honestly, in this life, guys, as I say and I say again, it's not you against the world. It's you in the world, and the world is already hard enough. So just, you have to realize that, like, you have to go easy on yourself, because no one's going to go easy on you. You think the presidents of this country or the prime minister is gonna go easy on you? You better pay those taxes on time. So it's like one of those things. It's like no one else is gonna like give you that leniency. You have to give yourself that leniency. You have to be like, guys, I'm human. I'm allowed to make mistakes because everyone's gonna eat up at you unless you defend yourself. Because no one's really protecting you but you and Jesus.
Do you have like, you want to go? Oh my gosh, see, now we're getting into it.
Right? Like I was saying, this topic was
really
really
fun.
No,
Yo,
right?
How much is it to book the team, bro?
Huh?
How much is it to book the team?
It's not even that. It's like, okay, they close at 5:30. It's like one of those things where it's like the last time that happened, what everybody did, we like paid them for extra time because like their working hours. But I don't want to have you guys do that. Like we don't have to do any of that. But that's essentially what it is. It's like they're getting paid until 5:30, so they want to be out of here by 5:30.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, but you can say your point really quick, and you can say your point, and then we can round up.
Oh, I was gonna say, I guess on the other end, like as important as it is to forgive yourself, because you're the only one that's gonna give yourself, you and Jesus, as much grace. It's also important not to lean on the other side of the spectrum where you're like complacent and you're like, oh yeah, I did this because this is that what you're gonna say as well. I was
gonna say that. I feel what you were saying was more so on like the personal healing. Okay, I'm gonna forgive myself for my past. I'm not gonna identify with this. But I think when you're getting cooked and the Holy Spirit, sorry, you're getting cooked, strong language. When you're getting convicted by God, when the Holy Spirit's on your case, when you're faced with the actual like genuine wrongings of your actions, I feel like people often don't forgive themselves as a way that is, again, like just not grow and not take accountability. I think it's just as important to be hard on yourself, not in the sense that like you're beating yourself up, but to be like, okay, I actually did this, actually messed up. Yeah, like she called me out, I picked her up and I was freaking late, bro. I did not hear the end of it, bro. I just sit back, it vexed me so bad. I just sit back and be like, you know what? I didn't have to clean my shoes today. I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do this.
Clean your shoes.
Okay,
See, accountability.
See what I mean? It's like genuinely accountable. But that's hard because then the enemy comes at you. It's like, yo, your identity is this. Like, yo, you committed, sexual sin. Like something going, yo, you did sexual sin, bro. Yo, you hurt your girlfriend. Yo, you did this. Yo, you did this. And it's like, you have that. And then you also want to believe it because it's comfortable. So I get your point to like, oh, you know, sometimes just like keep it pushing. But I don't think it's that easy in reality. Like, you're actually fighting yourself and you're fighting an enemy too. So it's like, and then you have to align your thoughts with the word of God and like make sure you're not being prideful. It's just, it's
a lot, honestly. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where I feel like at the end of the day, like I said, be self-disciplined, take accountability, but also don't beat yourself too much about it because it's okay to make mistakes. Just don't let that mistake define who you are and don't keep making excuses because you did what you did. Take accountability for that, but also realize that you're human and you're allowed to make mistakes. Just learn and grow from it. Don't do it again. Don't say, oh, this is who I am, therefore I'm going to keep being this. No, that's not what I said. I said it's okay to have done this. Now that you know that that was bad, learn from it, grow, and don't do it again.
And go read your Bible.
But if you, thank
the
you.
Lord said about you.
But if you do it again, it's okay. You're allowed to make mistakes again, and again. As long as you keep trying to be better, that's all that matters. Just keep trying. Don't give up. Don't let it define you, but don't also let it be, like, don't let it be your identity. Don't be like, okay, I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict. No, you're someone who's struggling with alcohol and trying to be better. Don't let it define you, but let it just grow from it. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where I feel like society and their labels, man. Like, you do something and they label you and you tend to label yourself for it. But I do want to listen to an audience reflection. One of the things that I asked someone was, why is it easier to forgive others than yourself? And I just wanted to play that really quickly before we round up. I have to go close to the mic.
I think it depends on what we're forgiving ourselves for. If it's just a simple mistake, then it can be easy to forgive ourselves for anything, but maybe when we hurt those that are close to us, it's harder to let that go because we know that we could have done better or that we should have done better. I think over time it's become easier for me to forgive, but I don't know if that's necessarily because I'm forgiving or because I just don't really have very high expectations of people. It sounds kind of sad, actually, but it gets to me because I don't consider that many people very close. So, yeah, it's easy to let things go.
Damn.
I hear that. Can we add or do we have
You can add a little bit on it. I don't like to reflect too much on what people say just because I feel like that's an audience reflection and it's not really too much for me to speak on. But if you like can relate to something that was said, you can go ahead and speak on it.
Just keep it on silent.
No, it's okay. Like, honestly, for me, when I was listening to that audio, what I took out of that was that a lot of people tend to find that it's easier to forgive other people because you just don't allow them to get to that point where they're close enough to hurt you. And that's the thing. It's like when you don't let a lot of people in, they can't hurt you. It's easier to forgive, but it also doesn't allow you to create that actual connection with them. And that's why it hurts more when someone who is very close to you betrays your trust, and it's harder to forgive them because it's like you let them into your life and you gave them so much of yourself, and it's like, why would you do that when they know who you are and what you've been through? And it hurts a bit more, and I think that reflects on yourself. That's why people are hard on themselves, because they know who they are, what they've been through, and it's like, why would you do that knowing that that would hurt you too? Why would you treat someone else like that? And I feel like that also tends to it's all a cycle, honestly. It's like, again, how you see other people, you also kind of see yourself, at least the people close to you. I feel like you kind of put the same standard. So like that leniency that you give to other people, you give that to yourself in a way, but at the same time you don't. I don't know how to really word
I was
it.
just about to say that you basically got it. Yeah, it's just like what he was kind of saying was he kind of lowered his expectation of people. But I think it's good to have expectations of people. Like, if you know your identity, you know what other people should be held up to too, so then you could help them grow and them hold them accountable just as much as you hold yourself accountable. So yeah, you're making sense, and I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So
I really wish we could dive more into this, guys.
Hey, bring us back.
But time says otherwise. I do hope that one day we can continue this conversation in the future. I would love to really dive more into this because I feel like this is a huge topic to really delve into, like forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, and how that has to do with finding yourself. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining my episode. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And thank you guys for watching my episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.